Hey everybody, welcome to Example of Play, though for strategy, tactics, and more. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. This is February 9th, and it's time for another strategy gaming news roundup. And for this week, I got to start it with the biggest news out there, and that is the release of a colossal game in the strategy space, and Civilization 7 is here. If you got the early access by buying one of the deluxe packs, you've been able to play a little early. The release date for the base game for the normal people is a couple more days out from now, but kind of shockingly, the game came out to some really harsh user reviews. Looking here on Steam, it's sitting at mixed right now with over 10,000 user reviews. And remember, these are people who paid either $100 or $130 to get the fancier versions that came with a few early days of access, versus the base game is $70 and is out in a couple days from now. But I didn't get it yet. I was kind of holding off just because I feel like I didn't play Civ 6 enough to justify getting another game until I found out, was it like a can't miss experience or what. But the critical reviews that came out earlier, they're pretty good. It's sitting at 81 on Metacritic with 76 critic reviews. So they enjoyed it. Some of them given very high marks and then a few lower. But looking at the user reviews, I think at one point these were definitely in the negative. I'm not sure how low it went at first, but it's actually climbed to mixed. So if you're for Axis and you're putting Civilization 7 out there, you're thinking, yeah, this is going to be our smash hit of the year. And I'm sure it's doing well, but not the reception you want to be seeing from the players. Now, I haven't played it, like I said. I seen some people talk about it, looked through the comments, looked through some of the user reviews down here, and there's some people like it for sure. It's mixed, so that means there's a lot of people that do like it, but there are a lot of people who have a lot of complaints, and a lot of these are longtime players and people who obviously were very excited about the game because if you spend $100 on this, you're wanting to play it for sure. And between a lot of people saying it's just unfinished, feels broke, the balance isn't very good, the UI isn't good, just a lot of problems with it, and then some people having issues with the way the game's been changed up. Since Civ 5 and 6 came out, there's been a ton of 4X games that have tried to kind of be the Civ killer and do something different. Like a big one that Civ 7 borrows from is Humankind, where it changes up the ways that the ages work. So instead of playing one civilization all the way through the game, as the ages progress, you have the same leader, but the civ you're playing changes. And that opens up the game to a lot of variability. And so, you're not always playing like the same civ with the same leader and taking the same strategy, because it could be very different from game to game playing it that way. But some people don't like that. I kind of on the fence about it. I feel like it could be interesting. My opinion is to do it differently, where your leader changes through the age and you keep the same civ. That would make more sense to me, but I'm open to the idea. However, some people not liking it, but that's just one aspect. Some people not liking the way the military works now, and then just the dynamics of the game, the way it's balanced right now, people not enjoying. So but like I said, a lot of people are enjoying it a lot. So drop it in the comments, have you played it? What do you think about it? Are you gonna get it or wait? The history of Civ lately is, I guess lately, I say lately, going back like 20 years or so, is, you wait for that first big expansion that usually fixes the game and adds everything that the game needed on release. They get in there by the first big expansion. So I'll probably wait for that. Civ 6 is still out there. You can get it for when it's on sale for practically free with all the expansions and all the DLC. So if you're looking for 4X, there's plenty of options out there without having to spend $70 on something that a lot of people are saying is feels unfinished. So drop in the comments, if you've played it, what do you think? And let us know if your experiences. All right, so on to our next topic. This is one that I am personally very excited about, and that is because we are getting some details finally on the third generation of combat mission, so CM3. If you're not a combat mission fan or know about it, they are tactical war games that have focused on having 3D visuals to match the simulation of what's happening down to 1-to-1 as much as possible. Going back to the original, which came out, Combat Mission Beyond Overlord, somewhere late 90s, and it was a huge step up for war games, going from like hex encounter, looking at 2D things of very simple graphics, to having actual 3D models of tanks and soldiers running around on a battlefield. And if you go back and look at it now, it looks crude, but at the time, it was awesome, and it's still great fun to play even today. Uh, Barbarossa to Berlin, which is the second game in that first generation. I bought that in a store at the mall, and it was basically what got me into war games. And at the time, I was like a early teens. I didn't even know what Operation Barbarossa was when I played that game. I thought it was so cool that I could play as all these different countries fighting like a million different battles, but I always thought like, where's America? Why can't I play as the United States in this game? And it's because back then I didn't even know that much about the East Front or what the game was even portraying, but now I do know and I appreciate it. But those first combat mission games, those were huge at the time. I remember reading the reviews in PC Gamer magazine, like they were a big deal. And then later on, they went to the CM2, the second generation, which started with Shock Force. And I was there. I know that game was broken when it came out. They did fix it eventually, and it's one of my favorites. But at the time, I remember getting the physical box set for that because I was so excited for it. And then it had so many bugs. It was just crazy. And so the series as a whole kind of stumbled there out the gate with the second generation. And then they fixed it over time. They've patched it. They've cobbled it together to keep it updated and relevant. But even when Shock Force came out, it felt a little dated then. And that was in like 2007 or something. And now we're still more than like a couple decades later, still kind of struggling along with that same engine. So to finally hear about CM3, the third generation, which is a brand new engine, and they last year Battlefront, the developers, they were bought by Slytherin. So that means that was good for everybody because that felt like kind of inevitable. Either they were going to get bought out or they're going to go out of business. Just because it felt like Combat Mission as a whole was kind of just slowly withering away, struggling along with the same engine forever. But finally, we're seeing that the third generation is around the corner. No solid date here, but they're kind of in that category of when it's ready, coming up soonishly, maybe sometime. Some exciting stuff in this post. They're talking about there's going to be a World War II game and a modern game, and that both are going to come out around the same time, or at least close enough. It's not going to be like a huge gap between them. So there's something for everybody. I'll link to this post in the description so you can read it all for yourself. But this is coming from Steve over at Battlefront, and it sounds like they're doing everything that everybody's been wanting. Like all the wish list items are in the game, all the broken stuff from the CM2 is gone, all the stuff you love is there. I don't know. I'm excited about it. I feel like I got a pretty good contacts with Slytherin, and so I hope that as soon as there is something to see to show you that it comes my way so I can play it, because I'm a huge Combat Mission fan going all the way back to the beginning, playing like the demo for Beyond Overlord, and then getting into the games and owning almost all of them since then. So exciting stuff here, even though I wish I had something to show you. It's still just a forum post, but just to know it exists and it's on the way, very cool stuff. All right, and then wrap up this video with a quick look at how another staple of the genre is doing, and that is Age of Empires and Age of Mythology. And something I would not have predicted if you'd asked me 10 years ago, that one of the strongest RTS games out there would be Age of Empires 2. You know, I would have said, well, it's a classic that everyone should play, but it's actually, I think, more popular now than it's ever been with the definitive edition, which if you haven't played it, you absolutely must, because it's so good. It's got all the stuff from Age of Empires 2, but it's modernized, it looks better, it plays better, there's a strong multiplayer scene. If you pick it up now, last year they rolled a bunch of the DLC expansions into the base game, so it's got tons of content. It's absolutely fantastic. And this year it's going to come to PS5, which is kind of crazy to me to think about playing Age of Empires on my PlayStation. I don't know if I'll pick that up, but it definitely will be interesting. And also Age of Mythology Retold, which is like the definitive edition of it, is going to come to PS5, so you can play those on console now, or soon whenever they come out, March 4th. And then Age of Mythology is going to get a big expansion, Immortal Pillars, which is China based, which totally makes sense. Go for that huge market with this game that is actually kind of interesting, because China, of course, has its own mythology going back thousands of years with all kinds of gods and heroes and history that's perfect for Age of Mythology, and a chance to kind of show off that kind of stuff in a new context for a lot of players who probably aren't familiar with it from the West. So I'm actually I haven't played Age of Mythology Retold yet, but This makes me kind of interested because it's something new, taking that classic gameplay and modernizing it and then putting new stuff into it. And then also, if you're an Age of Empires 4 player, there's some more DLC coming for it this year. It's a really cool game in that it takes that classic formula but doesn't just copy it. It's not really derivative of Age 2. It does its own thing. It's got its own multiplayer scene. I played it some, and I didn't. I prefer 2 still, but it was cool to see that 4 was actually successful. Actually did, because a lot of times we see these modern sequels to classic games just totally flounder. There's too many examples to even go there. But where they either are the same thing rehashed one too many times, or they do something totally different and just ruin what the original experience was. But Age 4 actually succeeded in mixing it up and appealing to a lot of people. So that was cool and nice to see that it's continuing to be supported. I've never played this mobile game. Actually, just this is the first time I saw it when I was looking through here, but there's a Age of Empires mobile that's apparently doing pretty well and has some new stuff coming for it too. So yeah, drop in the comments. Are you an Age player? Which of these is your favorite? What are you looking forward to this year? And then just in general, it's 2025. There's lots of great games coming out. Some are coming out right now, some coming out later in the year. Throw in the comments, what are you looking forward to? What are you playing? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. I do this news video basically every week with gameplay and tutorials and things in between. And so thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.